Cancer, my crabs, how are you guys doing? While we shuffle, I just want to go ahead and inform you of some of your astrological influences this month. So, this month right here, June, shall be a quite autonomous month for you. By you being ready to design your life and to work on it. You have to balance this liberty with social grace, though, to accomplish your goals. Both assertion and flexibility is necessary. Your spirituality shall be heightened this month, as you would be looking inward, spending time on introspection of the past, and ridding yourself of undesirable traits. This will surely benefit you by becoming connected with the Supreme Power, who will give you the confidence and vigor to lead your life in an entirely new manner. Career-wise, Jupiter shall help you this month obtain employment if you are seeking. Job opportunities that may, present themselves shall be to your liking, and family connections will play a big part in this. By the law of karma returning for you, money shall come back in great measure through other means. In terms of love, your 7th house will instill feelings of commitment if you're single. And if you have, you're in a committed relationship, you guys shall implement maybe some feng shui tips in the bedroom that can possibly be used for better and more positive sexual experiences. In terms of health, your health shall be excellent and will improve further if needed be. This shall be a month where you have joy and pleasure in everything that you really choose to do. Okay, just last shuffle. We're going to get started. Guardian angels of love and light, ancestors lost and known in the seas of time, please intercede into this reading to provide Cancer with the clarity and direction as to which he or she seeks, and please grant me, the reader, the objectivity to read the cards and relay all the messages as they're meant to be. Alright, Cancer. Spirit, please release Cancer's first base card for June 2017. Oh, wow, okay. Yeah, I'm going to take both of them. Let's see, we keep shuffling. Anything else to clarify, Spirit? Okay. I'm going to take this one as the base. Just kind of filling it. Okay, so we have the Hangman. That kind of coincides with the thinking and introspection, right? Then I'm going to take this one for one of the clarifiers. So, the Three of Cups. Alright. Then we have the Hierophant. Okay. Spirit, please release Cancer's second base card for their current disposition and for the situations at hand. Okay, let's take this in reverse. So the Five of Pentacles in reverse. Spirit, please release two cards clarifying why the Five of Pentacles is in reverse here for Cancer for June 2017. Why is the Five of Pentacles here for Cancer? For the situations at hand. Okay. Right. So we have the High Priestess. And we have the Ace of Cups. All right, Cancer. Pretty good. All right, Spirit, please release up to 3 cards for what's crowning Cancer. What's in Cancer's thoughts for the situations at hand? And send your current thoughts pertaining to the disposition and everything that else is going on. Anything else, Spirit? Okay. So we have the Knight of Cups in reverse. Okay, then we have the Eight of Pentacles. This looks like so. We have the Seven of Pentacles. All right. Okay. And the Ace of Pentacles. All right, Cancer, it's crazy. It's pretty good. Let's see what else is here. The Spirit. Let's see. Should I release anything else? Just kind of got the feeling. Anything else? Nope. Okay. Okay, we're coming into the reading, Cancer, as the King of Cups in reverse here. Okay. All right, Cancer, let's see here. I feel like, Cancer, you've been doing some serious thinking. And I feel like this serious thinking either is going to or has really served you, Cancer. And I also feel that you've been kind of observing, right? Kind of just taking notes, seeing what's going on, maybe not acting so much upon maybe your emotions or how you feel. I'm getting the feeling of more of just contemplation, kind of hanging out like the hangman right here for you. Just a dude that just kind of hangs out and fills situations out, and it kind of has a feeling of waiting a lot. But it's also a good thing because it's a moment of, like I said, contemplation. It's a moment of just having that solitude, observing everything, taking inventory of maybe people in your life. I really do feel like that. And with the Hierophant here, I kind of also feel that you've been seeking that knowledge and you've been seeking that wisdom in terms of who's in my life and how are they affecting me? Who are these people that I'm bringing into my life? And why do I allow them to be in my life? And I also feel, I'm getting a good feeling though, Cancer, about it. Like I feel like there has been some progress made in terms of having those moments of realization. Just saying, I think that this is a good thing, or I think that this friend is someone that I would want to keep around. It could be a relationship as well. I kind of feel it's maybe more friendship based. Kind of picking up too on maybe you met someone new and you've been kind of just filling it out. You're kind of just saying, I feel, Cancer, like you don't really want to repeat the same mistakes, which is great. And I also feel like you don't want to go down that same road that you did maybe in your previous either friendship or relationship. You just don't want to suffer that heartache, anymore. And I think that it's come to a point where you now realize, I don't want to say what you're worth because that sounds kind of rude, but along those lines, what you deserve. There you go. I feel like you kind of realize what you deserve now. And I'm also picking up, though, Cancer, that you've realized also that sometimes when you vacillate and you move too slow within relationships, that maybe they don't turn out the way that you maybe necessarily want them to. Now, I'm not saying that vacillation in terms of taking your time in a relationship is necessarily a bad thing, because it's not. But I kind of feel like when you vacillate too much and you wait and you kind of have that hindrance and you just want to hold on and wait and wait and just fill it out, that it comes to a point where maybe the second party becomes a little frustrated, and then maybe they may kind of just oblige you, kind of in a sense of pity, just be like, oh, I guess, I mean, he or she stuck around this long, might as well, like, that kind of thing. And I feel like you kind of picked up on that. And I'm also picking up on, which is contrary to this, but whenever we have the Knight of Cups here in reverse, it can kind of implement, someone who's a little manipulative. It could be you, or it could be the other person. But maybe you have those doubts that maybe this new person or this current relationship or friendship is causing you to maybe think about their motives. I feel like it's causing you to maybe come up with, say, some stories or scenarios in your head, which is not a horrible thing, but it becomes a horrible thing when it's done too much. Because I'm kind of also picking up on, Cancer, that maybe you want this relationship or your current relationship or friendship you want it to be molded into something that is worth your time. And I also feel like it's something that you want to work towards, and you want it to be a viability. But I'm also kind of picking up on too that, you're setting a little bit of a high expectation. Now, there's nothing wrong with that. But I feel like it's to a detriment a little bit, that maybe because you're acknowledging what's important to you and you're acknowledging what you deserve, which is wonderful. But sometimes when we do that, we become just a little bit, we put ourselves on a pedestal maybe a little bit too high. But that just means you have high expectations. But sometimes, that can lead us down the wrong path. Then we can maybe then settle, or the other person can settle maybe, given if they're doing this as well. But I really do feel like you are taking that time to think about your past relationship and see where it went wrong, and to see why things have kind of manifested the way that they did in the relationship. And I feel like you're having breakthroughs as well. And you're coming to a point where you realize what type of stability you want and what you need and require within a relationship. Because I feel like you are coming out of the period of being damaged, of kind of feeling like you can't come back from this, or that it's caused such like a demise upon your life or upon your future plans or hopes of finding someone new, that you're no longer maybe allowing it to hinder you. You're kind of coming out of that period where you say, you know what, I have to move on, and there's nothing that I can really do at this point that will help me in terms of not moving forward. It's kind of said a little weird, but let me see if I can say that a little better. I kind of feel like, every scenario has played out at this point, and now there is really nothing else that can really hurt you. Like, A through Z has happened, and now it's like when you reach rock bottom, all you can do is move forward and move up. It's the only direction, right? And I feel like you are using this introspection to help guide you now. But I still feel, though, Cancer, that you still have those moments of reneging back on this new plan or this new feeling or this newfound love. And it still makes you feel quite saddened or maybe disconcerted. And it makes you feel almost like questioning, what did you do to deserve this? But what's going on in terms of, up in the sky and astrologically, I believe a lot of people are feeling like this. But what we can do, Cancer, is we can't really play the victim sometimes. Now, I'm not saying that, we can't blame other people, or maybe we can't, not that you cannot not acknowledge what the other person has contributed to. But I feel like you have maybe come off the pity train a little bit. And I know that sounds a little rough. But I feel like maybe sometimes you board it, but I feel like it's sporadic moments. And I feel like you need to take those moments to think about things and to recognize and realize how far you have come. And to also realize that you must now get off that train, and, that train must now never come back to the station. Since we have the Five of Pentacles in reverse here, that's just not having stability. That's not having the happiness. That's being damaged. That's having hurt. And that's just feeling like your life has been decimated and feeling like there's nothing that you can really do but just wallow, in that hurt and in that pain. But since we have it in reverse here, I like it though. It seems as though that you found that glory in you. You found that space. And you have filled that void. Maybe not filled it, but you're filling, let's say that. I think that's a little more appropriate. That you're filling that void of wanting or needing the other person to maybe validate you or to validate your feelings. Because I feel like, Cancer, now you're using your intuition. And you now see things from your own unique point of view. I feel like you're now starting to kind of come back to who you were before everything kind of fell down or before everything kind of collapsed to the ground. But I still feel, though, Cancer, that you have to remind yourself of this accomplishment or this building of an accomplishment. You have to remember that days are not going to be, some days are not going to be easy. And some are. And I'm starting to kind of pick up that this spread right here, or this tri-spread right here, is where you're at now. And I feel like this tri-spread is kind of like what you must do in order to continue the good in terms of moving forward. I mean, because like I said, you're coming out of that period of despair. You're coming out of that period of feeling like you cannot move forward and feeling like you've hit rock bottom. And there's a new beginning. You may be offering your cup to someone new, or you may be thinking of new ways as to how to maybe acquire love. But I feel like it's not really maybe for someone else, Cancer. I mean, it can be, but I kind of feel like it's more for you. Like you found it in you. And it's because now I feel like you're listening to that intuition. You're realizing that there is some self-reliance in there and you need to just pull it out and you need to find it. But it begins with listening to yourself, and it begins with coming to that point of only having and needing yourself. And then I also feel like this tri-spread, like I said, is a reminder to have those moments of contemplation and to just study things, to go over your life and the mistakes that you've made. And I feel like Spirit's advising you in a sense to celebrate and don't forget just to be happy that you're alive and that life has brought you to this point. Yeah, it was painful. It was the son of a bitch. Don't get me wrong. But now I feel there's so many pinnacles here in terms of, I mean, not just here, but in terms of in your thoughts. The Eight of Pentacles is about molding your life and shaping things how you want them to, and also kind of maybe realizing that you have the power to shape it. And also, the Seven of Pentacles here is just looking over everything and seeing where you put that work into and acknowledging it. But we must remember, the Seven of Pentacles also means, kind of having maybe a blindfold on a little bit, having your maybe rose-colored glasses a little bit. But I feel as though, since it's next to the Ace of Pentacles, and it's also next to the Eight of Pentacles, I kind of feel like he's looking, or she, in case wherever the case may be, is looking at the Pentacle. And this is the hope that things are going to be fine, because I feel like now you've realized that you have yourself because you've used your intuition, and you've come to that point where you seek the wisdom. And then they're also looking at the Pentacle. It's kind of working together. I feel like this is, like I said, this is the old you, or this is the new you. I apologize. And what you found out of life, and this is you acknowledging it. He's looking at the Pentacle, but also looking at the Five of Pentacles in reverse. And when you have a Knight like this, they have a side profile. So they're looking forward in a direction. And I'm starting to kind of pick up too in your thoughts that you have to remember also to not put or give your cup to the wrong person this time. Because he's completely looking away, but he is looking at the Hangman. And remember, Cancer, that's what I'm getting here. How you felt when you gave your cup to the wrong person. And what came about of it. What came about of it? What came of it? And how you really suffered because of it. I'm not saying that you brought it upon yourself, but maybe you failed to see the signs. Maybe you failed to, see the things that were there. But just saying, everything's going to be okay. Having that blind faith in a sense, which we do need that sometimes for sure. But we need to realize when is enough, and when we're fighting a battle that is pointless. Remember that. Remember that feeling of how you felt when you were, in that rut. And the King of Cups here is also looking, at the Seven of Pentacles here. But his face is it's kind of hard to see, but see how his face is it's a little turned to the, slightly to the left, just a tad. And he's looking down, in terms of, the cup being in reverse. And I feel like he's looking towards this direction. It's the acknowledgement of wanting and having that new beginning. Everyone seems to be looking, in terms of here and here. They're all looking at the Ace, which is good. And given here too as well, because you're coming out of that period of destruction and of feeling hopeless and left out in the cold, you're now presented with the new gift, and that's the gift of understanding. Look, you have two Aces here. This is great. So not only are you refilling your cup with self-love, but then you've gained some stability because of that. And I feel like through this relationship or through this issue at hand for you, you've gained it, the wisdom. And now it's time to celebrate who you are and celebrate with the people, like they say, don't feast with those who didn't starve with you. And I feel like you've realized that now and you're coming to that point where you're like, okay, I'm not always going to feed everyone who always takes a plate to go. Like, I'm not going to do that anymore. Because then it makes you feel like this. It makes you feel like you cannot control your emotions, and it makes you feel like you're not a master of your emotions. And when you feel like that, that in turn makes you feel like you're bounded. And that's exactly what it is. It's letting and allowing someone to have that control over your emotions and over your feelings. And you can't allow that anymore. That's not cool. And I also just feel like it's time for a celebration. And it's time to realize who's important and what's important in your life. But you have to start to begin to not have so much of an expectation. You don't want to be let down with that. It's okay to mold situations how you want, but don't come into the situation trying to move too fast. Even though the Knight of Cups here, he's very slow. He's a very slow moving knight. And when he's in reverse, it's almost like a rush. It's like too much of a rush, and it's applying or trying to be on a conquest of understanding or trying to gain the knowledge of love, but looking in the wrong places. It's kind of like you're in the market looking for kiwis and you're in the chip aisle. Like, what are you doing? Like, that's not going to happen. And I don't know where the hell that analogy came from, but, just the contrast, And I mean, also the Eight of Pentacles, he is looking down, but he is also looking at the King of Cups in reverse. But he's looking more down, see, like in this angle, but then the King of Cups in reverse is looking towards this angle. So I feel like there's a need and there's a want, and you have to go over it. And you're going to have those moments of hiccups in terms of those moments of like, crying again maybe, or just being like, wow, like I can't believe that happened to me. But then you have to remember the new beginnings that you have. You have it in your thoughts because this, that there's a new beginning already. And this is just showing that because of this disastrous moment or this time in your life, you've gained this. You've gained the ability to give and provide someone your cup once again when you're ready. And I think that that's why the High Priestess is here too as well. She's trying to let you know, trust your intuition. Don't rush it. It'll come when it comes. Use this time to put yourself back together. Use this time to work on you, because that is one of the hardest things I believe to ever do in this world, because it's something that never ends. You're always working on yourself. But what comes with working on yourself is having to be honest and having to know and be honest with yourself, and knowing when you are lying to yourself and when you're actually being truthful to yourself. Because I feel like when you're truthful to yourself, you have those moments of celebration. And you're someone that everyone wants to be around, and then you're presented with other opportunities for meeting people. But we can't continue to be sad, and we can't continue to feel like we got the shit end of the stick. It's okay to acknowledge it and to feel like that, but we can't continue to feel like that. Because then this is how you come into the reading. Someone who can't master their emotions, someone who cannot control them, someone who cannot also provide another person with that. you know, with you controlling your emotions and who you are. So I feel really like don't rush into things. Don't make any fast movements in terms of if you find someone that you're maybe interested in, maybe try and switch switch the swag up. Maybe don't try and be the normal person of who you are in terms of try new techniques, I want to say. And I feel like this is a spiritual movement for you. It's having to rely on yourself and having to be around and to live with the bare minimum. Because then when you have the bare minimum, you don't have any distractions. And then, therefore, you are forced to work on yourself and to realize certain things and to realize what it is that you deserve and what you really want out of life. It was a tough way of dealing with it, you know. But I really feel like this is what's going on. But this is a really good reading, Cancer. It's great. It's filled with optimism and joy and hope and a newfound love, you know, for yourself. Let's see, let me pull some cards here. Okay. Spirit, release up to as many cards for advice for Cancer and how to move forward. And any other advice that you have for them. Okay, since we're here, you want to take this one? Okay, I'm going to take these two as well. I'm going to shuffle one more time. Any other advice or message that you have for Cancer for June 2017 for the situation at hand, Spirit? Anything else that you would like to reveal? Okay, that's it. Okay, so we have the Six of Cups in reverse. We have the Hermit. Could you be possibly dealing with the Virgo? And we also have the Eight of Wands in reverse. Okay, Cancer. So, automatically, I'm picking up on you did a great job in terms of going and finding who you are and being like a Virgo. And in the moment of contemplation and knowing things are going to be okay. You seek that enlightenment within yourself. And you went on that quest and that journey and you came out with abundance and life. I believe that it's still a journey, but I feel like it's a step forward. You were terrified of going into the dark and working that out with yourself. But nothing that, nothing that's great comes easy. And we must travel into the dark, into the unknown. Because then it becomes known. You must take those chances. And the Six of Cups that's here, this is a reminder to not be stuck in the past. Because then when you feel like your past is coming up, you're going to remember the journey that you took and what you learned and what you came out with. And since the Eight of Wands here is in reverse, this is conflict being or coming to an end. It's you're laying your wands down. You're like, I don't want to fight anymore with myself. I want to move forward. I don't want to allow people to control my emotions and to have that upper hand with me or upon me. Because you can't allow that, Cancer. You have to stay strong. But you can't be stuck in the past. You have to remember to come out of the past. The past is the past. There's nothing you can do to change it. So there's no point in revisiting it. It's okay to revisit it to see where it went wrong, of course. But when you revisit it, then the conflict comes back. The upheaval comes back. All of these wands then come shooting back down at you. And then you then need to go back into the cave and find the problem, but then you end up dwelling in the problem. And you don't want to dwell in that. Because I feel like this is where it led you. No. Kind of like this. Wanting to mold things the way that you need to mold them and wanting to manifest them the way that you want to do because you put the work in. And now you are in that moment of thinking about it and of saying, you know what? Look at what I've done. Look at what I've become because of this situation. In a good way, I mean, of course. But when we contemplate too much and when we think too much about things, and when we are constantly going over it, it leads you to sadness and it leads you to not being able to control your emotions. But then the enlightenment comes. And that's when things are great for you. The Ace of Pentacles here is a new beginning because you know that the conflict is ending. You've come out of this. Now, you come out of this with yourself as well as maybe during your partnership. Or I feel like this is more about you though, personally. But what happens is, we get stuck in the past because we offer our cup too fast or we do it inappropriately. When we seek the people and the relationships that don't serve us. See, positive, I'm just for the sake of this spread, but negative, all came to one point. And it comes from being like a Virgo. I don't want to say be like a Virgo, or you may have Virgo in your chart. When I say be like Virgo, I mean like be like the Virgo card, like the hermit, going and seeking enlightenment and coming out with it. Because, under the deck, Death card. Could be dealing with the Scorpio, But I really feel like this is more of transformation. And it's just a transformation of yourself. And not needing another person, like I said, to validate you. And to feel like that's what you're supposed to do, or you're supposed to be like this so you can make that person happy, Because you chose to walk away. You chose to take what was yours and you're done. And you don't want to revisit that again, right? Because you've come out of that despair and you've come out of that moment of not feeling confident in yourself and being like, ugh, and boarding the pity train, Because it's time to come off of it. Or it's time to release that train, and that train no longer takes you where you need to go because it's taking you around and around and around, right? Because now the lies and the deceit, it's gone. It's over. You don't need to carry and have those other two swords behind your back. That's it. You don't want to fight anymore. You're done. It's not giving up though, Cancer. It's just you're done with this old routine of just you're done with the old routine of feeling bad for yourself, of feeling like things are just not the way that they're supposed to be, walking around like him with his head held down, wearing all black like that. See, look, his cups are spilled. He's just, look, he has two back. He has two right here because he's holding on to the regret. But it's in reverse. That's how it came up at the bottom of the deck. So you're done. Now you're looking forward, right? Because you had that moment of, contemplation and saying, look at what I've done. And I've done this for myself. And now I'm going to continue like this. Yeah. All right, Cancer. I think that concludes everything. I think that was all the messages. But good job. It was tough, wasn't it? My God, I can only imagine. But Yeah, Cancer, stay strong, and you can do this. I know you can. I'm not sure if I said this in Scorpio's video, but I'm readjusting all my prices online in terms of the length of the private readings, and I'm kind of bringing the price down a little bit too because a lot of people responded to um, the special I had, the love special, and a lot of people responded to it, and it was really good. I gave a lot of really good personal readings, and people were very happy with them. So I want to continue to keep that going. Okay, Cancer. So yeah, check it out. My website. I'll leave a link in the description. And yeah, so stay strong for June because let's keep this going. This Ace of Pentacles and this Ace of Cups here. Let's keep this going because this is you. Number one, this is starting over. We're ready to start again. Okay. All right, Cancer, and hope you enjoyed your spread for June 2017, and we'll see you next time or mid-month.